10 minutes. That was all it took. One bite, a soft gasp, and then her body folded forward onto the table. The wine glass slipped from her hand, hit the floor, and shattered, red spilling across the tiles like blood. My wife screamed. I didn't move. Across the table, my daughter, just 8, sat still, composed, too calm for her age. She'd leaned in earlier, her voice barely a whisper, and said, "It's going to be okay now," as she quietly switched the plates, mine for her grandmother's. I hadn't understood. Not then. So I waited and watched. It was always Sunday dinner. Always at her house. Her kitchen, her rules. She cooked. We complimented. She judged. We smiled. That was the game. I had played along for years. Everything I had built, I built for family. I married with an open heart. Gave up my apartment, moved closer. Took on debts that weren't mine. I did it out of love for my wife, for our child. But that house was like a mouth that chewed people up. It started subtly. Offhand remarks. Quiet stares. One time I overheard her whispering to my wife, "He's not one of us, he's holding you back." I smiled anyway. Always for the sake of peace. For my daughter. Until keeping the peace cost me everything. The first sign that something was truly wrong wasn't anything loud. It was silence. My wife stopped talking to me after dark. Stopped asking how my day had been. I'd walk in and find her on the phone, laughing, murmuring to her mother, her face lit up in a way I hadn't seen in months. Then the money started vanishing. Our shared account bled slowly. I asked. She waved it off. Said it was groceries. But there was never any food. Just long receipts, furniture, jewelry, things that never came home. I found another account hidden. Opened in her name. Set up by her mother. My name nowhere on it. When I confronted her, she wept. Accused me of being controlling. That became the story she told. Even as I covered every expense, kept us afloat, she twisted the truth. One night, I heard her mother's voice through the phone speaker, low and cold. "You're nearly free now. Just a little further." Almost rid of me, though I never said a thing, not then. Revenge doesn't blaze. It creeps in on quiet feet. I began with the smallest steps, copies of files, screenshots of transactions. I found a lawyer, not just anyone, but a woman who had survived her own war. She showed me how to listen, how to watch, how to gather truth in the quiet. I recorded conversations, saved call logs, tracked lies until they mapped out like constellations, names, dates, places. The hardest part? Pretending I was still fooled. My daughter shattered the last of my hesitation. One night, she came into my study, her hands trembling. She said she overheard her grandmother say, "He won't be around much longer." "Are you going somewhere?" she asked. "No," I told her. "I'm not the one leaving." Steak had always been her grandmother's ritual. Medium rare with just a whisper of rosemary. She never let anyone else near the kitchen, said only she could be trusted. But I had started slipping in my own version, carefully prepared elsewhere, hidden at the bottom of my bag in a plain Tupperware. It was different, subtly so. She never noticed. Not until my daughter switched the plates. No hesitation. She knew what it meant. I'd had the food tested. Each meal, over time, had been laced with tiny traces of shellfish, just enough to trigger my mild allergy. Nothing dramatic. Just fatigue, confusion, discomfort that could be mistaken for burnout or age or stress. I'd even seen doctors. But nothing screamed, it all whispered. When I stopped eating her meals, my health returned. So I gave it back. Not poison. Just a mirror. The same steak, prepared her way, the way she'd made mine for months. She ate every bite. Swallowed her own weapon. Her allergy was no secret, no shellfish in the house. She always demanded. Not even the scent. But that night, the plate she took wasn't hers. It had my seasoning. The one she'd crafted for weeks. Only this time, it reached her. The medical report said it was accidental. Anaphylactic shock. Sudden. Tragic. I nodded. No one questioned why that plate triggered her allergy. No one thought to. It was mine, after all. She reached for it. Took it from my daughter's place. Her fingerprints. Her bite marks. My silence. 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. No yelling. No confrontation. I simply handed my wife a folder. Evidence laid out in sequence. Financial records. Messages. Voice recordings.
She didn't argue.
The court gave me everything: full custody, full rights. The proof was undeniable. Manipulation, control, neglect. She cried, not for me, not even for her mother, only for herself. Now it's just me and my daughter. We don't speak of that night. We don't have to. She eats her steak drenched in ketchup. I let her. And now and then, across the table, she'll look up and smile. Not the kind you see every day, but one that knows. Knows that sometimes justice is quiet. And I smile back, because that silence? It's finally mine. And I've never felt so heard.